Our media product challenges the conventional post-apocalyptic thriller by building a positive atmosphere. Unlike other films of the same genre, like The Road, we purposely decided not to remove the colour. We felt it was more effective to keep the colours vibrant and use sunlight to give the viewers a sense of hope. This is not often seen in other films that are based around the end of the world.
However, we have used the conventions that we researched to fulfil the genre's expectations, for example the sense of loss and dystopia throughout the film. The main protagonist is separated from his companions and has to endeavour to survive on his own. This is a popular convention found in films such as I Am Legend and Doomsday. We have also ideological conventions of a post-apocalyptic thriller, such as using a male protagonist rather than a female. Having a male in the lead role allows the audience to feel much more confident that he is going to be alright and have much more faith in the decisions made.
We also chose a slogan for our film, which is, "When you're all alone, how far would you go to survive?" so that we could incorporate a powerful message into our posters, allowing the viewer to feel involved in the film and to understand the emotions that the main protagonist is feeling. All good film posters incorporate a slogan at some level, and it makes the expectation of the film a lot greater. For example, I Am Legends, the last man on Earth is not alone. The main aim of the ancillary text is to create awareness of the short film. I have made sure that the two ancillary texts link together with the short film itself, so that all be very recognisable. It is important to create a link between the film, the poster and the magazine review, so that people get a basic feel of what the short film is like before they actually watch it. It allows them to make a prejudgment of the film and decide whether or not it's something that they might be interested in. The ancillary tasks create a vivid sense of loss through the use of darker colours and the lone figure standing in the foreground. I have, however, challenged this typical convention of a post-apocalyptic thriller by having the sun shining over his shoulder. It shows that there is hope ahead for him and that not all is lost, something that is not always used in a post-apocalyptic film poster. I looked at a variety of different existing film posters while designing my own. Out of all the posters that I looked at, I chose to concentrate on the posters from films I Am Legend and The Road in particular, as they are the films that we chose to take most inspiration from during our planning and research phase. They have used a very powerful image and presented all main characters in such a way that makes them look alone and captures the genre of the film. This was the main idea that I tried to convey to my audience, so it was important that I incorporated a truly powerful image that for my audience was thought-provoking and informed them what genre the film is likely to be. For the construction of my magazine article, I looked at other magazines like Empire and Total Film in order to understand the way in which to present my review. The most effective articles used a 3-column layout. They do not look cluttered and too overwhelming to the reader and will be easy for them to read. I also made sure to check that my review made sense in its entirety throughout the process of writing it. It is important that it makes sense to the reader so that they do not get confused or misinformed.
I feel that my print products and short film work well together. The print products are clearly based around the film, and I show this by using a photograph we took when shooting at Spijsbank for the second time. My poster is heavily influenced by the different I Am Legend posters because it's a very successful post-apocalyptic thriller. The design of the poster itself is based around a shot from the film where the protagonist is stood looking at the abandoned building. Knowing we wanted to use this shot for our print work, we took 2 photographs of it, one portrait and one landscape, so that we could use it for our different print works. I edited the photograph on Photoshop to have a vintage blue lomography filter and a slight sepia filter. This darkened the image and made it look like a shot from our film. I intentionally avoided extracting Jill Sans Light and Jill Sans Regular to give my poster a sophisticated feel. I added lines to either side of the film logo to give the logo more evident elegance and class, and also to balance it out with the rest of the text. I chose to add a Riff Awards 2012 official selection badge to my poster, as it confirms to the audience that this is a low-budget independent movie. In the bottom left corner, I have added the Film Institution's logos for Film 4 and Paramount, as well as our own film institution, Escapade Productions. In the opposite corner, I have added social networking icons for Facebook, Twitter and Blogger, as well as a hashtag to encourage our audience to follow and like our pages. I have intentionally not incorporated a QR code onto my poster, simply because I feel it did not fit. My first instinct was to make the magazine look too much like a poster. However, after researching film magazines properly, I decided to make it look as if it was featured in a generic film magazine, such as Total Film or Empire. Despite that, I decided to feature it in Escapade magazine, the magazine for our fictional film company, and I added the logo for the company magazine at the top left. For the magazine, I edited the photograph differently. Rather than using a strong blue filter, I added more of a dark sepia filter. I felt it would be a nice touch to claim the release date to be the 21st of December 2012, the day the Mayans claimed to be the end of the world. I feel my review was completely fair. I stated both the pros and cons of the film, and what my honest opinion of it was, in the style of an impartial film reviewer. I feel it's important to give my own opinion, especially when it's my own work, as it makes the reader feel that they can trust what I'm saying, and therefore believe whether I say it's good or bad. The most successful magazine reviews I noticed used 3 columns of text. I felt that 3 columns fit my page nicely. I have also added an image from the film in the final column, and in my opinion it's important to show more than one image from the film so viewers know what to expect.
Throughout our project, we would persistently ask other members of our class to watch our video and to give an opinion of what they thought of the video so far. There was a particular favourite part of our short film that they all liked the most, the scene where the protagonist is sat by the tree after having woken up and he puts his glasses on. They all felt that the transition between his blurry vision and his normal sight was smooth and effective.
Day 3. 3 days is a day. We also received excellent feedback from our subject tutors during our first draft evaluation. We learned that in order to make our short film more successful, we must drastically cut down the runtime. The brief was to make an approximately 5-minute long short film. Our first draft was nearly double that time. We learned that we should consider removing the opening of our film and instead incorporate it into flashbacks, as the main protagonist is sleeping. Another very important thing that we were told is that the storyline was very hard to understand and that we should try and make it more understandable to the audience.
We not only received feedback on our short film, however, we also received feedback on our first draft of our ancillary tasks. We were told that we should consider incorporating more information onto our film poster, which included a release date, social networking icons such as Twitter, Facebook and Blogger, a website for the film, the logo of our production company and a larger, bolder title. We incorporated all of these things into our final posters and both turned out to be very successful.
During our first draft evaluation, we also received feedback on our magazine article for our ancillary tasks. We were told that the design side of the magazine was very nice and that they liked the consistency between the design of the poster and the magazine. We had, however, not written our reviews yet and chose to use dummy text to get the basic feel of what the text will look like once it's incorporated. This was one thing that we changed the most for our final magazine. We made sure that the reviews were of a high standard and that it all made sense. We made sure that the magazine was both critical and supportive of our film, and we achieved such views by using the feedback that we took from our fellow classmates.
When we finally finished our film, we got a group of students from our class to watch our film and give us feedback on what they thought.
Day 3.
Oh, guys.
3 days as a devastating virus was released into the human race, causing millions to evacuate their homes.
All feedback received told us that what we had produced was to a very high standard and that it was enjoyable to watch. They particularly enjoyed the scene where Tom puts his glasses on, where the camera goes from blurry to in focus, as well as the voiceovers, as they felt that it draws the viewer into the film and strengthens the storyline. They did, however, comment on the audio and said that it was something that we needed to make smoother and flow better. This is something that we have now fixed for our final draft.
Throughout the process of creating our short film, we used many different media technologies. Some of these technologies were simpler than others, for example the use of a tripod when using the camera or using a piece of carpet to block out the sun.
We also, however, used some more advanced media technologies like the use of green screen for our news report, keyframing for the title sequences, and dolly tripod in order to get nice, smooth, moving shots.
During the production of our short film, we used 2 cameras in order to cover as many angles at one time as we could. This allowed us to cut down the filming time when we didn't have much time available, and gave us access to a much wider range of shots. The second camera's main purpose was to film behind the scenes, but we found during the editing process that some of the clips from the second camera could be used as part of the short film itself.
For our research and planning, the main media technology that we used and found to be most beneficial to us was the use of Blogger. Using Blogger allowed us to keep track of what stage we were at during the development of our short film, and allowed us to keep on top of the whole production process.
Visual and sound effects also played a key part during the construction of our film. Without them, the feel of our film would not be the same. Using visual effects adds depth to the film and projects emotions on the viewer that otherwise would not be felt. These visual effects include the use of RGB curves, a 4-colour gradient and a vignette. The RGB curves and 4-colour gradient effect allows us to make the scene darker and to create a much stronger atmosphere. The combination of this and the use of the vignette, which we created in Photoshop, allowed us to darken the edges of the film, really drawing the viewer in. Sound effects also create suspense and draw the viewer into the action being displayed.
Some examples of sound effects that we use include the rewind sound effect when the main protagonist is sleeping. It conveys to the viewer that the main character, Tom, is sleeping and that what he is experiencing is flashbacks. We also added a voiceover during the period shortly after Tom is awoken. We use this opportunity to explain to the viewer what is going on in the storyline and to explain the virus to them. To do the voiceovers, we used a piece of software called Audacity. Audacity was, we felt, the most suitable program for the job, as it allows full control over the audio you're trying to manipulate.
We have also considered how we could use media technologies during post-production of our film. We have considered how we would use things like Web 2.0 to promote our film. Web 2.0 has been a very useful tool for many films in recent years, such as Paranormal Activity. We would use websites like Twitter, Facebook and YouTube to create a fan base around dystopia, and to promote new materials like trailers, posters and photos. We have incorporated a hashtag onto our film posters, showing the viewer that if they wish to start a discussion based around dystopia, then they can do so by using that hashtag in their tweet on Twitter.
One of the posters, a QR code was incorporated onto that links the film's YouTube page. QR codes are becoming increasingly popular with the development of smartphones, so having a QR code incorporated onto the poster allows people with that technology available to load up the film trailer or other promotional material by simply scanning the code.
If we were to go on and promote our film, we decided that we would try and get the likes of Film 4 and Paramount on board to assist with promotion and distribution. Film 4 would be able to offer promotion and distribution across the UK and Europe through themselves and partner company like Pathé, whereas Paramount would be able to assist with the promotion and distribution across the USA.